Okay, we got the fender flares. I'm gonna prep to install that today. These are the fender flares themselves. We got front and rear on both sides. We'll use this riv nut tool to put them on. We'll also be doing the two-tone today, so I got knifeless tape. I decided to go with these beauty washers, and those will go right on those. And for those of you guys that have never used a riv nut tool before, I went ahead and just did this to one of them. So what it does is it just pinches the sheet metal between that ridge there and that one there. And then it'll hold it in place, and then you have threads where you otherwise would not have threads. Thankfully, these are all labeled, so they'll tell you where to go. Okay, got it taped up. Mark some holes, and then pre-drill them. Got all the holes painted. Alright, so I was a little worried about this. This is a 1/2, but previously I had used the 3/8, and the 3/8 is just barely too small, and then the 1/2 just feels like it's just too big. Like
that's what she said.
I don't feel like it should be that loose in there. We may just try and send it.
Just gonna send it.
Can find another bit. Found a 7/16 bit, and that is a lot more snug. And I'm gonna take the circular file here and just clean them all up. This is the riv nut tool, and this here is the riv nut. We're gonna be going for this one. Screw this on here while the device is all the way open. Put it in there. Apply pressure, and it should crimp that nut. Yeah, that's in there. Okay, so I went back because this one actually was a little loose, but now it's all good. You just had to, after the initial compression, screw it tighter and then do just a touch more. We got all of the riv nuts in. We're gonna do the wrap on this small little section. So I got the knifeless tape where I want the edge to be. That has a dent, so it doesn't look good, but don't judge us by that. Generally, I think it looks pretty good. You know, the two-tone with, and then we're gonna put the fender flares on. We did this whole side, and then we carried it all the way across to the tailgate. So we'll just put the bumper back up, and we'll be good to go. The rear bumper back on there, and with the black, it looks good. Cool. So next up is fender flares. Finally got the correct bolts in. Just gonna go ahead and bolt up the fender flares. Pretty good looking. So I'm happy with that. Forgot to mention there's this last little piece here, so that will just go right into there. I'll go ahead and get that installed. All installed. I had to drill a bigger hole because it was too small.
That's what she said.
Otherwise, it's all in, all secured. Got the back in, got the front in, and overall, I'm pretty pleased with how it looks. Okay, so one of the things I want to do for the Ford Ranger is lift it. So I bought this lift kit. I'll show you what's in it, and then we'll go ahead and install it. It's a Torch off-road kit, so it comes with some stickers, cool, instructions. Who needs those? And then we've got the bolts there for the new hangers. So this should increase the rear ride about 2 inches. And then I did some coil spacers for the front. So this should also give us a few inches here. I think it's about 2, maybe 3. Give us the ability to get some larger tires on there. Got the coil spacers with a little rubber bushing. And these are the leaf spring hangers. That guy there. It'll just add a little extra space and raise it up. And I know what you may be thinking. You know, Jack, it's really only 2 inches. Is it really going to be that big? But, you know, I would recommend you just wait and see. You know, it might have a great personality. You never know. And then we've got the grease gun fittings, and so those just go right in there. I already installed this one. And they come with all new bushings too, which is great because I really didn't want to have to reuse the old ones. And new hardware, and I already sprayed down the old fittings with some rust release, so hopefully we'll get them out easy. Okay, so it actually came out pretty easily, I think, because I sprayed that stuff on there. But so this side had the nut.
Mom, get my nuts!
and this side has the bolt, and then the nut is back in this little case here. It's right here. You can see it moving around, so I'll just have to push that out. Okay, so it turns out I had it stood in the wrong place. I put the jack stands right here on the suspension, and you want to put it on the frame so that way the suspension has room to move around. So once I got it fully free, the bolt came out really easily. This bushing actually doesn't look too bad, so frankly, I'm just gonna keep it. And I also, don't have another bushing. This was the nut that went behind that hanger there. So I'll see if I can use the new nut. It's just gonna be a question of whether or not I can get it threaded. If not, I'll just clean this up and reuse it. But here is the old one, old bushing, old hanger, and the old bolts. They gave me new bolts, so I'm gonna use the new bolts. So here's the difference between the old hanger and the new hanger. So that's why they say it really is only gonna give you 1.5 inches or about 2 inches, because it's measured from this one here. Okay, it's up. I ended up reusing the same stock bolt because it had a bolt hanger, and the new bolt was a different thread pattern than what was on the bolt hanger back here. So it's got the new bolt down here, the old bolt right there. I won't torque it down until it gets back on the ground and it's got a load on it. Okay, I'm gonna show you on this side how easy it is. The other side I had some issues, so we're gonna put that washer on, and then we got the carrier here. So we'll put this just right up here on the farthest one, and it goes through this way. Put the other washer on, and then it's got these nuts here. We're only gonna tighten it down part way. This was the hanger that I was talking about that just goes right back in here, and that's what holds the bolt in. So get that back there. Once we get this up, put this bolt through it, tighten it down, put it back on the ground under load, and then we'll put some torque on it. Okay. That's just about in place. Okay. Well, I thought it was going to be easy, but it's not.
Hey, pal. You just blowing from Stupid Town?
All right, that looks good and centered.
You know the struggle is real.
Got the little hanger back there. And I'll just try and thread this bolt into it.
Go!
There should have been a time lapse. Okay, that's tight enough for now. We'll get it back off the floor and then torque them down. And I don't even think you were able to see half that. Good job.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
So the last thing that we have to do is get a grease gun and just grease up right there. Okay, working on the front suspension lift today. So just using coil spacers. So we've got the car lifted by the frame so the suspension can move freely. We will remove the tie rod from the lower control arm, the sway bar end link from the lower control arm, and then finally this ball joint.
What did he say?
And then this should be able to move. We'll compress it upwards, clamp the spring, and then bring it all down. Be able to remove the spring, put the spacers up there, put the spring back. We ended up removing the caliper as well, and then I just bungeed this to the upper control arm. Got the ball joint out from here. We removed the tie rod and the sway bar, and then compressed this with a tool I rented from O'Reilly's. It's hard to see, but we have the spacer up there, a nice shiny thing. The spacer and the polyurethane sort of bushing, that separates the coil from the spacer. And then we had to compress this those 3 more inches
Nice.
in order to try and start reinstalling everything. So it was tricky. I don't like working with springs, but it is what it is. Okay, so we got it all lifted. Took it for a little test drive. Really like the way it feels. Next thing on the docket is gonna be, we bought Steely's. We'll get some bigger tires, so that way hopefully it fills up that space and maybe gives us a little bit extra lift. And I think it should be fun.